Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today I'm bringing you part 1 of my palette collection. I'm hoping to get this done in 2 parts and not 3. This video was very highly requested after my room tour, so if you haven't seen that video, I will link it for you. Go and check it out. I have a lot of palettes, guys, a lot. And there's no way that I can swatch all of these. It would take like 10 videos to get through all of them. I think I have over 80 palettes. Palettes are just the thing that I'm always drawn to, the thing that always inspires me with makeup and what makes me really excited. So just know that going in, there are a lot of palettes to see here. If you feel that you may be offended by a large collection of palettes, this video is not for you. So now's the time to escape before you get upset. Just know there are a lot of palettes here. I'm going to try and get through them all as quickly as I can. I'm going to try to do this in 2 parts because I have my palettes stored in 2 different places in my beauty room. I have my go-to palettes that I store on my vanity behind me, and then I have a bunch of other things. Either they're limited edition, so I like to kind of squirrel them away, or they're things that I don't use as much or don't like as much, and those are stored over in my Alex drawers. So today we're gonna go through all of my go-to palettes that live on my vanity. What you're mainly gonna see today are my Z palettes, my ColourPop pressed shadows, a bunch of Too Faced, Anastasia Beverly Hills, MAC, Lorac, and then like a couple other little things here and there. But those are really my top favorite things that I always reach for. There is a mixture of limited edition and permanent items here. So if you ever have a question about what my favorite palettes are, this is pretty much going to be the video for that. There are things that are stored in my Alex drawers that I love, but these are my definite go-to eyeshadows, at least at the moment. There will also be a few face palettes thrown in here and there, contouring or blush palettes as well, but it's mainly eyeshadows. First, the thing that I always have to have are my 2 Z palettes. I do have a What's in My Z palette video, so if you're curious about what these shadows are, I'll link that and you can go check that out. These are mainly NYX, MAC, Makeup Geek, and Anastasia and Morphe shadows. They're just all mixed up in here, and these are my babies. This little Sephora Z palette with all my neutrals in it is just the perfect companion palette to anything else I pick up. I always know that my must-haves are gonna be in here. I'll try not to blind you with this one. I just ordered these Makeup Geek shadows and I got one of their mirrored palettes. I haven't played with these too much yet, but I have worn them. And of course I have other Makeup Geek shadows, so I know they're great. And this is just the newest addition to my singles family. The next thing that I keep on my vanity is my Petite Pro palette from Viseart. This one is fairly new to my collection, but these eyeshadows are amazing. If you know me, you saw this coming. This is the Man-Eater palette from Tarte. I've been going on and on about it, so I won't rave about it too much, but I love this palette. It's incredible. If it's still available, go and order it. It's limited edition. You need it. Trust me, you need it. Next, I have my pressed powder palettes from ColourPop. I have swatched all of these in previous videos, so you can go and check those out if you're curious about which shades I have. Yes, I am a big fan of these. That's why there's 4. All right, let's get to the MAC palettes now. I do have one large palette. This is the Nordstrom Neutrals palette. It is a Nordstrom exclusive. And when I'm traveling, I always like to take this one. It just has all the shades that I need for any kind of look, light daytime to dramatic evening time. I know I can count on that palette. I have 3 of the 9-pan palettes from MAC. These are all new releases. I have Solar Glow, Red Hot, and Semi Sweet. I have done a few videos with these, so if you're curious, check back to the last week or 2, and I have done some looks with these 2 palettes. The last little MAC palette that I have is the Showstopper palette. I don't remember which collection this came from. I did find this at a cosmetic company outlet, so I'm not sure how difficult these are to find, but this is such a great little neutral palette. If you love neutral shadows, go and check and see if you can find one of these at your local CCO, because oh my gosh, I love this little thing. All right, next let's talk about Anastasia Beverly Hills. I do have 3 eyeshadow palettes, and these are honestly some of the best eyeshadow palettes that I own. The Modern Renaissance palette is an absolute must. It was in my 2016 beauty favorites, and this is part of their permanent line, so you can definitely still get your hands on this. If you love warm tone eyeshadows, you will love this palette. The World Traveler palette and the Master palette by Mario were both limited edition palettes. They're no longer available, unfortunately, but they are beautiful palettes. I love them, and I will continue to go after the limited edition palettes from ABH because I've never been disappointed. Let's go to my Lorac palettes now. These are some of my all-time favorite eyeshadows. I do think they might be a little bit difficult for beginners to work with because they are so pigmented, but if you're a beauty lover, Lorac palettes are an absolute must. I promise you, you will love them as much as I do. I do have a few limited edition palettes from Lorac, so let's go through those first. I have the Mega Pro 2 and Mega Pro 3. The Mega Pros are usually only available around the holidays, and people kind of go nuts for them. So if you're ever interested in picking up one of the Mega Pros, make sure you jump on it because these things go like hotcakes. I have two of these Nordstrom exclusive palettes. This one is Refined Romance and this is Enchanted Elegance. I did do a swatch and review of the Refined Romance, so again, if you're interested, I'll link that for you. I really enjoy both of these palettes, but the Refined Romance is one of my favorites. I love this palette. I've raved about it. I wish it was permanent. Look how pretty it is. Another one that I've raved about and done whole videos on is the California Dreaming eyeshadow palette. Again, beautiful packaging, beautiful eyeshadows. I can't get enough of this. This is limited edition, I believe, but it is available right now. So if you're interested, go and check it out. You can find it at Ulta. I do have two of the three original Pro palettes. I have 1 and 3. I do not have Pro 2. The colors just didn't really draw me in as much as these two did, but these are some of my most highly recommended palettes. I love them. They're just staples for me. I have the Mini Pro palette in metals, and this is all shimmer shades. These are beautiful foiled, fun color selection. This is a great little like companion palette to pair with a more neutral one, and it's really cute too. I like little palettes. The last Lorac palette that I have stored up here is the Contour palette. I really enjoy this. I think this would be best for a makeup artist because it does have a wide selection of shades, but I have gotten a lot of use out of this just using it on myself and doing makeup on my friends for fun. The powders are really easy to blend in. This is just a killer face palette. Okay, now it's time for the grand finale of this video. This is the majority of my Too Faced palettes. I do think I have 1 or 2 stored in my drawers that were limited edition, but these are the ones that I like to use the most. And I'm not gonna show you the insides of them because you've probably seen them all over Instagram and all over YouTube, but for any of these palettes, if you wanna see swatches or more in-depth about the palette, tutorials, things like that, just leave a comment and I'll try my best to make it happen for you. First is an oldie but a goodie. I think this one's underrated. It's the Love palette. It's really pretty. It also came with an eyeliner, and I found this at Nordstrom Rack, so if you have a Rack near you, go and check it out. I think I only paid like 15 bucks for this palette. I have all 3 of the chocolate bars, the original, the semi-sweet, and the Bonbons palette. I love these. These are my most recommended palette. I think these are great for anyone, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned beauty lover. These are just absolutely a must. Some of my favorite palettes in my entire collection. I also have the Sweet Peach palette and the Peach Glow palette, which is a face palette with a blush, bronzer, and highlighter. Again, love these. You've seen them a million times, but that's because they're great. I have the Chocolate Chip palette. I don't have the all matte one. That just didn't really draw me in as much as this one. And I also have the Love Flush Blush palette. This was limited edition. I don't think you can find this anymore, but it has a bunch of the Love Flush blushes in it, and those are part of the permanent line, so you can always find them separately. I do have 7 of the 9-pan palettes. I love these. I think they're so convenient. The formula has been great for me, and I like having all the different packaging just sitting on my vanity is so pretty, and the different shade varieties, it's fun to just grab one and create an eye look. So the 7 that I have in my collection are the Natural Eyes palette and the Natural Matte palette, the Rock and Roll palette, and the Boudoir Eyes palette. Not gonna lie, solely bought this one because it had macaroons on the packaging. This is the Sugar Pop palette, and of course, Peanut Butter and Jelly and Peanut Butter and Honey. I do have more in-depth videos about some of these palettes that I've mentioned today, so I'll try and link all of those below if you're interested in seeing them. Like I said, if you want to see more about any of these in particular, just leave a comment, let me know, and we'll make it happen. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Video. Show them. The next thing that I keep on my vanity is my Vizia. You don't even know what it's called. I don't think that was relevant. These are no longer available. Super pigmented. The palette and the what are you called? Okay.